Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the topic methods of reproduction of fungi. As we know that there are two types of methods of reproduction of fungi. First one is asexual method and second one is sexual method. As we know that asexual method, that means A means absent and sexual means the sexual gametes. That means in asexual reproduction there is no involvement of or fusion of gametes. That means reproduction of fungi takes place without fusion of gametes. That is called as an asexual reproduction. In case of sexual reproduction, the male and female gametes are involved, and such gametes are fused with each other as a result to form a new structure. That is called as a sexual reproduction of fungi. So let us see the first method of reproduction of fungi. That is first one is asexual methods. So which are the asexual methods of reproduction of fungi? So first one is fragmentation. फ्रॅगमेंटेशन मराठीमध्ये त्याला आपण तुकडीकरण असं म्हणतो. ओके, सो फ्रॅगमेंटेशन दॅट मीन्स वॉट? इट इज अ फॉर्म ऑफ असेक्शुअल रिप्रोडक्शन वेअर अ ऑर्गॅनिझम ग्रो फ्रॉम अ फ्रॅगमेंट ऑफ पॅरेंट्स. इजंट इट? दॅट मीन्स वॉट? दी पॅरेंट मायसेलियम. ओके, आता मायसेलियम म्हणजे काय? तर ज्या वेळेस बारीक बारीक बुरशीचे जे हायपी असतील, बुरशीचे बारीक बारीक जे काही कण असतील ते एकत्रित येतात आणि बुरशीचे बारीक कण ज्यावेळेस सर्व एकत्रित येतात त्याला आपण मायसेलियम असं म्हणतो. बरं, देन नेक्स्ट ज्यावेळेस हे मायसेलियम मोठे होतात, ह्याच्यामध्ये दिले हो, सो दिस इज अ मायसेलियम. वेन दॅट मायसेलियम वेन दे मॅच्युअर्ड, सो what happens? The fragmentation of such a mycelium is takes place, and such a mycelium or fungus, they are broken up into a small pieces. Okay, so as they are matured, so again breaking of such a mycelium or fungus is takes place simultaneously. Okay, so this is about the fragmentation. Okay, so that each fragments, whatever the each fragments is there, so that each fragments they grow individually. When it becomes mature or when the favorable condition is arises, so each mycelium is grow individually. So this is called as an fragmentation. Next, here again it is the short information about that fragmentation. Mycelium, that is the group of fungus, get fragmented, तुकडीकरण होते त्याचं, and they after fragmentation they are broken up into a small fragments or pieces, and each of which is able to develop into a new individual. And that fragmentation process is commonly found in the fungus, that is Rhizopus and Aspergillus. So that Rhizopus and Aspergillus is a name of fungus in which that fragmentation method of reproduction is takes place. Then next one is budding. So as we know that budding means what? The small bird-like growth emerge out from the mature parent cells, and that budding is commonly occurred in unicellular fungus, that is yeast. Okay, so here as we know that here how the budding is takes place. So let us see that first structure A. In that A, the small bud of that fungus is there, मोस्टली इन ईस्ट फंगस. आपण मराठीत त्याला किन्व असं म्हणतो. किन्व ही एक फंगस आहे, ईस्ट ही एक फंगस आहे, आणि ईस्ट हा फंगसमध्ये बडिंग ही प्रोसेस देखील होते. ओके, सो दॅट दॅट ईस्ट or that fungus it having the first of all they having the mother cell and vacuoles. Okay, then that there is a small outgrowth is takes place. That outgrowth, or this is parent cell, this is our parent cell, and that from parent cell here the mother cell and vacuole is there, and here the parent nucleus is there, here the parent nucleus is present. So when that cell become mature, so that parent cell increase in their size, that parent cell increase in their size to form a small bird like outgrowth. There is a small bird like outgrowth is takes place here. So this is called as an, or there is a, this is called as a developing bud from the that parent cell. Next one, what happens? There is a transfer of that transfer of that parent nucleus, or transfer of that parent nucleus takes place into the developing bud, and they are separated with the help of that constriction. That means when that yeast cell it become mature, so the nucleus undergo division, and that nucleus from the parent cell is transferred into the that bird like outgrowth. It is called as an daughter cells. And at a similar time, what happens, there is a small constriction is formed in between that cells. Then after that, that along with that nucleus, the that mother cell is again duplicated and again transferred into the that small bud. So in that, and in that way, what happens here, the separate daughter cell is formed, or the separate bud is formed from the parent cell. When that cell it becomes mature, so that parent or that daughter buds it becomes uh, separated from the parent cell, and individually they grow up. So in that way, what happens is that bud, again that small bud like outgrowth, or from that, or that another developing bud, they acts as an parent cell. Again from that parent cell, nucleus undergo duplicated, and that nucleus is transferred into the another cell, and mother cell is also transferred into the another bud like outgrowth. And what happens, that bud or that nucleus and mother cell is again transferred into the small bud like outgrowth, and that small bud like outgrowth is again separated from the parent cell. So in that way, what happens, the separation of bud like outgrowth is takes place from the parent cell along with the nuclear division is takes place. So that kind of uh, reproduction is takes place in case of yeast or the bud. Here again the small picture is given. Here this is yeast cell which containing the male nucleus. Next one, as the yeast cell it become mature, so that nucleus elongated along with that parent cell, it is again elongated, and small bird like outgrowth is takes place. Then when it becomes again matured, so that nucleus undergo division, and that nucleus is transferred into the another small bird like outgrowth here. And at certain period, what happens here, when it becomes completely mature, so the constriction is formed in between that parent cell and daughter cell, and that small outgrowth is separated from the parent cell. So this is about the uh, budding process. So what happens, the chain of bud is formed in that way. So this is about the budding process. Next one is the binary fission. So as we know that binary means what, bi means two, binary means what, two, and fission means breaking of fungus. Binary means two, fission means breaking of fungus. So as we know that this is the, or binary fission is a type of asexual reproduction of fungi. This is the bacterial cell mostly, or this is the fungal cell. Then what happens in that fungal cell, or in some case of bacterial, similarly in bacteria, what happens here, the DNA is present. That bacterial cell acts as an, or the fungal cell acts as an parent cell. That parent cell which containing the DNA along with the cytoplasm and the different material which is present inside the cell. So what happens in next stage, the DNA is copied and each copy moves the opposite sides of the cell. That means what happens here, that parent cell increase in their size, or it becomes elongated. At a similar time, whatever the DNA is present inside the cell, so the DNA get duplicated, and the single copy of DNA is transferred into the opposite direction of original. Next, as the cell become mature, so the barrier is formed, or the construction is formed in between the two cells, or in between these two DNA. The next one, what happens here, due to the formation of barrier or constriction, so what happens here, that two cells it becomes separated by transferring the single DNA into the another cell, and original DNA is remains in parent cells. So in that way, the two independent identical cells is formed from the process of binary fission. So this is about the binary fission process. here it is observed. Next, last one is called as an sporulation method. So as we know that sporulation means what? The formation of the spore. स्पोर्स म्हणजे बुरशीचे कण, ह्या बुरशीचे कणापासून काय होतं, बाकीच्या फंगस तयार होतात. सो दॅट्स वाय इट इज कॉल्ड एज अन स्पोरुलेशन. So sporu means spore, lation means formation. So what happens? How the sporulation is takes place? As we know that stem-like structure is called as an sporangiophore. Then that root-like structure is called as an rhizoids. Then when these two rhizoids is joined by the single hyphae, when these two rhizoids is joined by the single hyphae, then it is called as an stolon. Hyphae is nothing but the piece of fungus. Then what happens? The umbrella like structure is present, or dome like structure or cup like structure is present just above the sporangiophore. Then it is called as an columella. It is called as an, here that structure is called as an columella. The next one, just above the columella or at the end of that sporangiophore, there is a sac-like structure is present. That sac-like structure is called as a sporangium, and that sporangium which contains, or that sac-like structure contains the different kinds of the spores. This is called as a fungal spores. When that fungal spore it becomes matured, so at certain maturity, what happens? That sac-like or the sporangial wall it becomes break down. Whatever the sporangial wall is there, so that sporangial wall it becomes break down, and due to the breaking of sporangial wall, whatever the spores which is present inside the cell, so that spores get disintegrated or disseminated through the air or through the high flow of wind. And when such spores they are deposited over into another, so suppose that spores is deposited into another or in another factor, that is soil, so that spores individually again grow and to form a mycelium. Again it form the mycelium, or it form the fungus, new fungus. So each and every spores of that fungus acts as an reproductive unit, because from each spore there is a new fungus is formed. So this is about the process of sporulation, that is the formation of the spores. So how the sporulation is takes place? By breaking the wall of the sporangium. By breaking the wall of the sporangium, the wall of the sporangium is break down. Then whatever the spores is present inside the sporangium, so that spores become disintegrated outside. So this is called as an sporangium. So this is the four methods of asexual reproduction. That is, first one, fragmentation. In that fragmentation, mycelium get fragmented or broken up into the small pieces when the parent mycelium or fungus become mature. Second one is binary fission. In that binary fission, that means the fission or breaking is takes place in between the cells, and as a result into two similar cells or identical cell is formed by the formation of constriction or breaking. Then in third, C, that is called as an, the third one is called as an budding. So in case of budding, the small bird like outgrowth is takes place from the parent cell. Then the nucleus from the parent cell elongate and transferred into the bird like outgrowth. At latter, or when the parent cell become again matured, so small constriction is formed, and due to that small constriction, that daughter cell detached or separated from the parent cell to form the another bird like outgrowth. So budding is takes place. And last one is sporulation, that is formation of the spore is takes place by breaking the sporangial wall. So this is about the four methods of asexual reproduction method. Then regarding sexual reproduction method, we discuss in next chapter. Here in next chapter we discuss about the sexual method of reproduction, or in part second we discuss about the sexual method of reproduction. So if you have any doubt or any queries, so WhatsApp me personally or message me personally. Thank you.